Good day and greetings from the Great White North. My name is Prickly Poo and welcome to day 297 of a year of change. Today we are going to talk about something that I've brought up at least twice in the past. Long time ago. Actually, I tend to bring it up quite a bit. We've already addressed all the stuff that's sort of the misnomers that come along with food. Like the ones that say, oh, this is a superfood, like kale and, goji berries and all the other stuff that say, well, if you eat this, you'll lose weight. We've already addressed that, so I'm not really going to revisit that. We've dealt with supplements and, all the little extra pills that you can buy, which do nothing for you, unless you're actually deficient in something and your doctor's giving them to you. So I'm not really going to talk about that. But I do want to keep that same sort of attitude towards the topic today, because where we're starting in on exercise, those same warnings that I would give for I'm trying to think of another food that people went, oh, these are the new foods. There's always something. The dark chocolate was one thing for a while, and red wine and all the other stuff. Where when we're doing exercise and stuff, those same warnings can be applied to a lot of, use the term loosely, products that are out there for people. Now, when we first started this, I wanted just right from the very beginning, I didn't want you, if you didn't have to, not to spend any money. Because we don't really need to. We're moving a little bit more, we're becoming a little more active, and the main thing was we were kind of gonna try that again, with vowels this time. We were going to cut back on a lot of the crappy foods that we were eating and just eat healthier. And that was, the increase was going to be there. We knew there was, going to be a slight increase in, purchasing fresher foods and more fruits and vegetables and stuff, but we were eating less of it. So, that came out weird, eating less of it. So, in general, it was going to even itself out. And as things are right now, it's not a huge difference in your grocery bill. But there was never going to come a point when it was, okay, well, now you have to go buy this every single week and eat that because it's $10 a pound, and you have to try this, and you have to buy these supplements that are $500 to do you for 4 days. And the thing is, the same thing, I really sort of want to reiterate this with exercise stuff, because we don't really need it. Now, if you can afford something like a weight machine or a treadmill or something like that, then by all means, go for it. If it's going to be something that you're actually going to use and you're going to get some, a good benefit out of it, then go for it. It will benefit you in the long run. It's a benefit twice. What I'm talking about are all the little shitty scams that are out there. And the reason why there are so many is because, especially for people like us, when we're first starting out, we will look for anything that is going to make this easier. We know that we don't want to start running and lifting weights and exercising every day. We simply aren't used to it. We're used to just sitting back, relaxing all day, not relaxing, but not doing much of anything, not going out to be physically active, strictly for the sole purpose of being active. So anything that comes along where they say, well, this is going to make things easier, or it's going to, boost your metabolism, or it's going to do this and that and the other thing, of course, we're going to jump at it. And we really shouldn't, because pretty much across the board, without exception, they're all bullshit. There's a whole slew of them that have, and they've always been around. There's actually a resurgence of one now that I've seen where, there's two versions of it. If you remember way back in old-timey days, whenever you see like an exercise video from like the 20s, 30s, and 40s, when there's always some fat guy who's thinner than I am, usually, stuck to one of these machines that is just basically just jiggling him around. It has the nice big wide belt, and they just stand there and go, I'm getting fit. And like, no, you're not. It's just shaking you. It's not doing anything. Your muscles aren't getting any exercise. You're not burning any calories. You're simply just standing there looking like an idiot. And those have actually come back. I can't remember what the name of it is, but there's actually this stand-up vibrating machines. They don't have the great big belt on them anymore, but they essentially do the same thing. You stand there and it vibrates. And people go, oh, this is great. I don't have to exert any energy, and I will shed the pounds. You will not. And you would think that a lot of this is sort of that common sense thing. You're going, no, you aren't burning anything. You're still just standing in one spot. So, you're burning calories, but no more than you would be if you were just standing still. This is the machine that's shaking you back and forth. You're not doing anything. There's a smaller version as well. It's like a Vibro something or other. Brady fanny pack looking thing. And it's the exact same thing. It's essentially just a giant flat vibrator that you strap to your back, and this is sounding a lot different than I intended, but you wrap it around your back like a fanny pack sort of thing, and it says it will help you lose weight. It won't. There's nothing that you're ever going to be able to do that's just going to get you to lose weight without you having to actually exert some energy. And there's, if you remember, I'm pretty sure it's still out actually. And it's sort of like the go-to, let's make fun of internet shopping sort of things, are the shake weights. If you've ever seen these, the commercial is really, everyone knows what they look like. You basically look like you're jerking off a robot when you're trying to use this. Because they're standing there and they're going, I'm losing weight. Like, no, you're giving C-3PO a hand job. That's pretty much all you're doing. And if you want to do that, then by all means, go to it. But don't stand there and say, oh, this is going to help me lose weight. It does nothing for you. It's the same as shaking up a bottle of juice or something. It's just simply not going to work. The one that is really sort of standing out right now, though, and this has been around for a very long time, and it got so bad that a few years ago, they had to stop making these bullshit claims, but people still believe them, and on their website, it's still sort of, anyway. It's called Power Balance. And basically all it is, it's just a shitty little, wristband. That's all it is. Now, I mean, I've got my opinion on the stupid little magnetic wristbands, which do nothing. The copper wristbands, which doesn't matter how much you spend on them, they're still all going to turn your hand green eventually. They do nothing. None of this stuff is going to help with, arthritis or weight loss or energy or anything else. But these are just basically shitty little plastic bands with a little hologram in it, so it looks all future science fiction-y. And people were wearing these because some of the claims said, oh, well, it helps focus your energy and you will have more energy and you will lose weight and all this stuff. And people believe them. These are the same people that will go out and say, oh, well, you have to try the yellow crystals because they're better for hemorrhoids or whatever it is. And then the pink ones are good for this and the purple ones are good for that. They're not good for anything. They're fucking crystals. They don't have any benefit whatsoever. So these bracelets are sort of the same thing. And when you actually go on their website, they have some FAQs there. So I thought, okay, I'm going to go in because on their main website, you can't find out what the hell it does or what it is or what it's for or anything. So I thought, okay, well, this will have it. So at the very top, it has, what do they do is one of the main questions. And they say, well, these bracelets are worn by many people throughout the world and they're based on Eastern philosophies. That's their answer. It doesn't say anything, but people will read and go, oh, that sounds so much better. We've talked about this before, all the stuff that we go, oh, ancient Chinese medicine. Ancient Chinese medicine is fucking horrible. They had a life expectancy right up until the 1950s. Their life expectancy was below 50 years old. And so then after they went, you know what, we're going to stop having powdered zebra tongues and tiger penis and all the other stuff, and we're going to start using real medicine. Then it started going up. But right till the middle of the 20th century, their life expectancy was shit. So I don't understand where this comes from. I think it's just because people don't understand it. And so they think, oh, well, it's something unknown. It must be miraculous. Meanwhile, the same things, if they say, well, no, I don't understand what goes into a flu shot, I'm not going to take it. I don't take flu shots anyway, just mainly because I think, not because I think, oh, they're horrible and I'm going to get autism or something. But I really think they're better saved for either children or older people. And I don't often get sick. And if I do get sick, well, it's the flu. It's not going to kill me. More people die of the flu than bird flu and swine flu and all the other stuff that people panic about it anyway. But generally, it's older people or children. So I understand there's a finite amount of flu shots. So I've never really gone to get one. If I get sick, I get sick. It's not, I'm going to be out of commission for a week at worst. So compared to the alternative, that's fine. Anyway. Getting off topic here. So anyway, these little shitty wristbands, that's all that they are. People are still buying them. They still have a website. And back in 2010, because they were making such outrageous claims saying, well, it's going to help you lose weight and it gives you more energy so you can exercise and all the other shit. They basically said, no, you have to stop. I can't remember. I'm assuming it was Consumer Affairs or something. I don't actually remember. You can look it up. But they, anyway, they had to stop making all their claims. Now on their website, after that little, well, what do they do? And they go, oh, yes, they sure are. And you kind of go, that doesn't fucking answer anything. It goes on, and then it asks again, well, what do they do? But in the same line, then it says, what do they do? Will this work for everyone? They ignore the, what does it do? And they just answer the second question, which is really weird because they put it up there. I think it's just so that they can say, well, no, we've answered that question twice. And it says, well, we have many testimonials and stories from people that says that it's helped them. It doesn't say help them do what, their marriage or win the big game or pass a test or whatever. It says, while we have many testimonials from people that will, that say it has helped them, this isn't helping. This won't help everybody. So we make no guarantees and no claims, but you can have your money back within 30 days, which is just their way of saying, we're going to ship it to you, but if you want to send it back, then you're going to say, well, I've only had it for a month. And if you're one of these people that's going to say, holograms are going to help me lose weight, you're probably not going to send it back after a month. And it's just, anyway. My back is really itchy. Sorry. There we go. All right. I was like, actually, just wait. No. Itchy back. So, the reason why I sort of bring this up is because these have been around for as long as I can remember. And there are always new ones that are popping up. So, no matter whether it's, green tea, which it's another one. I know it's sort of food related, but you'll see a lot of people go, well, green tea, it detoxifies your body and you'll start losing weight. There's nothing that you're going to drink or eat that's going to detoxify your body. I mean, if even just drinking plain water doesn't do that, it doesn't flush out your system or anything else. It does help because you aren't adding in salt and sugar and coloring and all the other stuff. So yeah, it's better for you, but it's not going to kill you. It's not going to detoxify anything. It's not going to, So when you hear people, and I always hear this, I always do this. I always hear people that are like, oh, well, you have to try this tea and this, I've lost weight on this. Like, really? So you're eating the exact same way that you ate before, but now you're just having one or two cups of tea extra a day. There's, oh no, I drink that instead of my other drinks. So you're not. This tea has replaced your sugary drinks, the milkshakes, the juices, all the things that you used to drink before have now been replaced with tea. And you're wondering, you're saying, no, it's the tea itself that's done it. Not the fact that you've cut out a shit ton of calories and sugar and fat and all that other stuff that goes along with it. That hasn't really contributed to it. It's been because it's magic tea. So, something like that, if you want to drink tea, by all means, I buy tea as well. If there's no calories in it, if you drink it black, it's fine. It's not going to hurt you. It's good for you. It's fine. But it's not a miracle thing. Same thing with these. Anyway, we've already dealt with the food thing, so I'm going to try to stay on topic and go with all the equipment stuff. So these bracelets that are out now, which is really, they're out now. It sounds like it's brand new. They've been around forever. 5 years. 6 years. Or more. More than 6 years. More than 5 years. Anyway, because they got their, basically slap in the mouth in 2010, so they've been around for at least 5 years or more. So now when you go on their website, it's the same bullshit that you would have heard some traveling snake oil salesman from 100 years ago. It's the exact same shit, and people are still buying it. So no matter what you look at, whether it's copper bracelets or plastic bracelets or anything else, it's not going to help you lose weight. It's not going to help your exercise get any easier. There's nothing that you're going to be able to wear or buy, or, aside from things like, well, you kind of need shoes if you're going to be jogging or something like that. But you don't need $500 shoes. You don't need special shoes with little extra springs in them and everything else. You don't need any of that shit. It's not going to help you. It's not going to benefit you in any way. Except it might. And here's where that little warning comes up. Because we've discussed this before. Everyone knows what the placebo effect is. The thing is, a placebo will still work even when people are told it's a placebo. And they've done these experiments where they've given people the sugar pill, they've given them, and said, no, this is the one that's working. They've given people the regular pill and saying, this is what's actually working. They've given them the sugar pill and then said, this is a sugar pill. This is not the real drug. And the people that are taking the placebo, there are, I don't know the exact number, but there is still a success rate. I was going to say there's just as much, but I don't really know. So there is still a success rate. There are still results that come from people that are taking a placebo and know that it's a placebo. So the only reason why I can think that any of this stuff might work is that if you're buying something that you think is really going to help you, you're more inclined to watch what you're eating. You're more inclined to go out and be more active. You're more inclined to say, I'm just going to not have that piece of cake tonight. I'm going to have something a little healthier this time. Because you think, this is going to be helping. If you were to just give someone, a wristband and say, okay, these are the exact things that you're going to be eating. Here's exactly how much you're going to be exerting, every single day, and tell one group of people this wristband is going to do fuck all. Another one, this wristband is going to help you. And then give another group saying, just wear anything. It doesn't matter what it is. As long as you wear a watch because you need to keep time and you don't tell them what's going on. The results are going to be there, but there's going to be that sort of, that mental boost, I guess, that you're not getting from a hologram, but you're getting because you think this is something I've invested in. This is something that is going to help me. So you're more inclined to sort of, contribute more than you normally would. And so I think probably the best example of this is, I'm not doing this for product placement, but the Fitbit. I don't have one. I wasn't going to get one, but I noticed that you can get little achievements for it. I was like, oh, I kind of want those now. Just a certain number of steps that you can run, or walk, as it gradually builds up and up and up and up, then you get little achievements and little badges and stuff like that. I thought, I kind of want to do that. That's a long way away. But for something like this, there are some people that say, well, when I started wearing it, then I started gaining weight, which is mainly just because it's not really keyed specifically to you. It's going by what information you're providing and what your activity you say that you're doing. And let's face it, it's not perfect. So yeah, you're going to have to tweak some of it. But I think in general that it's something that does motivate people. I think it's nice to be able to track your progress all the time. MyFitnessPal does this for me. And there's a new thing on there as well. When I did my weigh-in this week, when it came up and said you are this much, this percentage towards your goal. So for me, it was just over the halfway mark, which is nice. I kind of like that little addition, which is nice. There's some things I'm not too happy about that Under Armour is doing with it. I find a lot of it's getting a little bit more restrictive, but again, it's still free, so I can't really bitch about that because I'm not paying for any of it. But having that nice little thing pop up and say, oh, you're 53% towards your goal, I was, that's kind of nice. So I don't have to do the math in my head. Anyway, so when you have something like this, whether it's MyFitnessPal or a Fitbit or anything that's going to help you sort of stay motivated and keep you going and give you that little bit of a mental push to say, no, you know what, I want to keep doing this because I'm tracking my steps or I want that next badge or whatever it is, then yes, that's going to help you. It's not required for what we're trying to do. So, that warning still stays across the board for anything that you see and you go, oh my God, this looks like the next best thing. It's not. It's the same shit that we've seen long time. For a long time, they've just rebranded it, repackaged it, and said, here, it's fresh shit. Enjoy. And people sort of got, no, I won't say that. It's kind of gross. People still buy all this stuff. For the most part, it's going to end up in our attic somewhere. But the fact that they're still making it, I think, does show that the demand is still there because people are still going to buy it. And part of it is that desperation where we want anything that's going to make it a little bit easier, that's not necessarily going to give us that little bit of a competitive edge, but anything that is going to make that exercise a little less stressful, whether it's mentally or physically or however we look at it. If it's something that we think this is going to help me get into shape, aside from that little, this is going to help me, so I'm going to do more, it's not actually going to help you. If you were to strap it onto someone and they say, well, what does it do? You're like, absolutely nothing. It has nothing to do with anything. And you didn't mention exercise or diet or anything else, it wouldn't do anything. It would just annoy them. But aside from stuff like that, things that, you're tracking, for me, it's MyFitnessPal because I know that I need to keep tracking every day. And there are still days when I go over. There are still days when, I look at it and go, this was a really shitty day. I still have to log it. And just wait for the aftermath of people going, it's okay. You ate 4 buffalo. You probably shouldn't do that, but get back on track. But having that accountability, that's what's been sort of keeping me going. And have my ups and downs, have my good weeks and my bad weeks, just like everybody else. But in general, it's keeping me on track. And if yours is getting a Fitbit, then do the Fitbit thing. If yours is just, writing in a journal, then do that. Sorry. I can't breathe. It's okay. I'm all right. I don't know what happened there. Whatever it is that you decide to do that is going to give you just something that's going to keep you on track, I would warn you, don't spend hundreds of dollars if you don't need to. But if there's something that you can afford and you think, you know what, I want to try this and see if it's going to help. It may not work every time. It took a long time for me to find out what works for me. It just sort of was dumb luck that it was something free. But I did the same thing. I bought a treadmill 2 years ago and didn't start using it until a year ago. So it was a very, very expensive coat rack, which is usually what they end up being. But I found that, mixing that in with MyFitnessPal and talking with you, that is what's been helping me. That's what's been keeping me going. So whatever it is that you decide that, is going to give you that little bit of a push just to sort of keep you on that path and is going to keep you from quitting and getting, just frustrated with not having any results. And especially where we're starting in with exercising, something that's going to keep you coming back, so that even if you're only doing it 1 day a week or 2 days a week, something that's going to keep that consistency, then by all means, go out, buy it, do whatever you need to do. But just be careful, because otherwise you're going to end up with a big vibrator on you and getting too handy. So anyway, other than that, this turned into a really awkward thing now. So I'm going to leave this video here. So thank you very much for watching. If you liked it, please poke the like button for me. In the meantime, keep yourself warm and fuzzy, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.